Danny Gurry, and you've tuned in to Good Morning Frederick. It's a podcast, well, about Frederick. Everything, the people, the businesses, the nonprofits, and the cool stuff. So sit back, relax, and enjoy Good Morning Frederick. Good morning, Frederick. Today is Wednesday, June 5th, and I'm your host, Danny Gurry. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day looking outside. Weather, it's not so great, but we've had a couple very nice days, so can't complain too much. Yesterday, I spent a couple hours, last night, doing a spreadsheet to compile all the places we stream and the total number of views that we have. It's not an easy task, actually. I stream to 7 places every morning, and I had to find all the videos and record the total number of views. And initially, it was really to make sure I could show my sponsors that there was value in partnering with me on this show. And my goodness, I was actually surprised at the total number. Over 55,000 views of our show. I mean, honestly, I can't even believe it. This is show number 47 of something that didn't even exist before April 1st. So all I can say is thank you, especially those of you who work just as hard as me to share and comment and tune in each morning and be my advocates. And it means more to me than you guys will ever know. But I'm just getting started. So this is just the starting point, but 55,000 views of our 47 shows, pieces of content. And I know in talking to some people last night, and I want to thank Frederick Lifestyle for hosting the men's edition launch at Betfred at the Clarion Inn last evening. I talked to so many people, and a number of them were excited because they have interviews coming up late in June. And somebody said, oh, you were early on before a lot of people were watching. I've waited. Well, I can just tell you, the glorious part of all of this, because these interviews, these shows live forever. Our very first show has almost 5,000 views, but every show following actually gets more and more views each day. So I've kind of benchmarked, right? So now I know where we are today. And in a week, I'm actually going to go through and do it again so that I can see how much our older videos are growing. And I just have to tell you, everything is going to be on the podcast soon. I hope to have it done by this Friday. So every single episode will be available to download. So if you're a commuter or you love listening to podcasts while you're mowing the lawn or cleaning the house or doing dishes, you're going to be able to do that to this show, Good Morning Frederick. So really, really appreciate it. And again, last night was wonderful. I want to thank Kristen and Amber and all the people who were there, many of the people who came up, many people I met, and we will be featuring on this show soon. And it was a great chance to catch up with all the flying cows who were all there. Many of them will be heading back to their hometowns for a little bit, but they are coming right back here to Frederick. And actually, I'm going to need your help because we have to find them jobs in the off season. I might put some of them to work here. I might put some of them to work at the home of everything Frederick if Shannon says that's okay. But we need to find jobs for these great, great athletes who really do want to make Frederick home. So I will be talking to you about all of that as soon as they get back. All right. Have you heard the Good Morning Frederick ad on WFRE or WFMD? If you do, let me know. I'm actually not in my car enough to spend time to listen, but I know that they've put it on there. And we're going to have some exciting things happening starting on Monday. I'll talk to you a little bit more about that coming up soon. I want to thank some new advertisers. Thank you so much to the Healing Storm and Moon Valley Farm. Thank you so much for supporting Good Morning Frederick. And we'll be talking lots about them in the coming days. All right, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're at 324. Actually, we were at 325 yesterday afternoon, and I noticed we're at 324. So somebody unsubscribed, which is lovely. But anyway, we only have 176 more to go to get to our 500 goal by June 15th. We have 10 days to get 176 people to subscribe, and we're well on our way to 1,000 subscribers by September. All right, on the show today, I meet Deanna Houston, a yoga instructor who, because of her journey with infertility, has specialized in yoga to help other women who are trying to get pregnant or who already are. I love this theme of the focus on women. I love it. And Marilyn Herbert talks about the walk to end Alzheimer's and also gives some advice on where to look for resources for this awful disease that I'm sure has touched all of you as it has myself with my grandmother. All right, let's get this Wednesday Hump Day Prom Day show. Let's get it started right here. Thank you to the sponsor of Good Morning Frederick. We help you move, whether you're moving across the street or across the country. Nicholas and his team of moving experts can make the whole thing easy. We Help You Move is veteran-owned and a great supporter of the Frederick community. Trust me, I have contacted Nick so many times about so many different things that had nothing to do with moving, and he is very connected. In fact, he made sure I am chatting with Marilyn Herbert today because he was moving her out of their office space, and he said, you gotta be on Good Morning Frederick. So I love it. And I was there yesterday, and unfortunately, Michelle, I didn't do the video. I am going to talk about what we talked about yesterday, and I'll show your video tomorrow. But we're putting it out there for the Montana move. We want to get Nick to Montana. All right, weather today. This is my prom donning. I'm putting on the tiara for the prom today at the Arc for Scott Key Center. All right, today cloudy this morning with thunderstorms developing this afternoon, high of 81 and a marginal risk of severe weather, so be careful out there. Tomorrow morning, thunderstorms. Tomorrow in the morning, thunderstorms with a high of 86. Boy, I'm glad I'm going to bring on somebody who's going to do this much better than I do. Friday, mostly sunny and 82. That actually looks like a spectacular day, in case you might want to take PTO if you've got it. And same for Saturday, mostly sunny, 82. So nice. I think this will be a great, last weekend was awesome as well. And Sunday, not bad, partly cloudy and 81. All right, we've got some prizes for you, but first we want to thank our sponsor, Thurmont Fireman's Carnival. Opens June 17th, goes through the 22nd. They've got a lot of great live music, and they've got a parade on June 20th. Now, the pre-sale ride tickets are now on sale. Just $20 to ride all night. Purchase them at Woodsboro Bank in Thurmont, Thurmont Country Kitchen, and Wise Market in Thurmont. You can get those $20 tickets. Also, if you go to the Facebook page of the Guardian Hose Company, they are actually, that's the name of the department that puts on the Thurmont Fireman's Carnival. They do sell some of the tickets at limited days and times from the firehouse. So you need to go look on the Facebook page for the Guardian Hose Company. Now let's talk about what we're giving away. Well, we've got 5 Maryland Lottery scratch-offs. I forgot, again, to put the deadline on it. Actually, I'll do them each week. So we'll deadline Friday, this Friday, for 5, and I'll put up another 5 next week. All right, 5 Maryland Lottery scratch-offs. You want to text MDL. You want to text RIDE for a RIDE wristband at the Thurmont Fireman's Carnival. I've got 5 of those to give away. And you want to text FIT for a month of fitness classes from Fit for Moms. Summer is the perfect time not only to get in shape, but make some new friends. Get out there, let your kids play and run around with other kids if they are at the running around stage. And if they're not, they're in the stroller, they are going to have a ball. You're going to be out in nature having a great time. And then you can hang out for Summerfest Family Theater, which is Celebrate Frederick's Thursday morning programming, which is great. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to talk about yoga. And we're going to join to get on the Walk to End Alzheimer's, which is coming this October, but I'm talking about it now. So if you want to do some fundraising, if you want to get your company organized to participate, you have some time. There are no excuses, right? All right, let's get to these quick messages from our lovely sponsors who are getting some great exposure on our 55,000 show. Here we go.
All-in-One Events is Frederick's #1 source for event rentals and entertainment. Please visit us on the web at www.aioeventgroup.com or call 1-888-727-8902 for more information.
Yes. And, of course, A&S Construction, a local and award-winning woman and minority-owned business, and it is located right here in Frederick. They specialize in roofing and siding and windows, gutters, patios, and decks. So pretty much everything on the outside of your home, Sandra and the team at A&S Construction can take care of it for you. Give them a call at 301-703-2157 or email info@ansconstruction.net. And of course, you can visit them on the website. Now, I talked to Sandra last night. I saw her at the Frederick Lifestyle event, and I am making plans later this summer to go out and see her working on site. I told all of my early interviewees, all the people I interviewed early on in this show that I was going to revisit. Okay, because the one thing I like to do, and a lot of people say, oh, you know, the interviews are great, but we'd love to see more behind the scenes, or we'd love to see stuff in action. Absolutely, 100% agree. I like to introduce people first so we kind of get to know who they are and what they do. And then I'm going to revisit. And actually, I'm going to revisit, do you remember Sandra from my very first show? She made candles. I'm actually going to see her in the next week or so. We have a time scheduled, and I'm going to go out and watch her make the candles. So exactly that. And we're going to do the same for Sandra from A&S Construction. Don't forget, you get $750 off any roof or siding replacement or $50 off any roof repairs. Tell Sandra that Danny sent you, and you can get that special offer, or just have her come by and take a look if you're concerned that maybe you have a leak in the roof or some siding is lifting or things like that. She's amazing. She's going to take great good care of you. All right, let's talk about what is happening in Frederick. All right, we want to thank the Healing Storm, utilizing alternative holistic healing methods leading to a more balanced and fulfilling life, including things like massage, Reiki, hot stones, cupping, and more. The Healing Storm is all about client-centered care. That means you are the most important thing. Go to thehealingstorm.com to find out more and book your appointment today, which you can do right online. So convenient. I want to thank Shannon for coming aboard and joining Good Morning Frederick. All right, let's talk about the Sisters in Charity Garden Party. That is coming up. It is coming up on June 18th. I want you to mark your calendar to come to that event. It's going to be so fun. And the ladies who are creating the baskets are having a ball. I cannot wait until you see what I am coming up with. Well, I'm actually not, I came up with the concept, but I can't wait till we see what Tammy Sue has put together for my vessel. It is, I know, going to be spectacular because she is spectacular and so crafty and so creative, way more so than I am. So, but at the Sisters in Charity Garden Party on June 18th from 5 to 8 p.m., my goal is to collect 200 pairs of shoes for Souls of Love. Of course, along with raising a lot of money for charity. Okay, so here's the deal. Come to the party on June 18th, or you can come the whole week previous. We're going to talk about that soon. June 12th through the 16th, you'll be able to come to the home of Everything Frederick. Either one of those places, you bring a brand new pair of shoes for kids in Frederick County. Sneakers preferred, but closed-toed for sure. And you'll get 2 raffle tickets to hopefully win one of these great baskets that we are putting together. Okay, so I need the shoes. Last year I collected over 100 pair. This year I'm shooting for 200 pair, and I know we can do it together. This is crowdsourcing at its finest, right? I think I've purchased about 50 pairs of shoes so far. Every time I see them on sale or clearance, I pick them up throughout the year, put them in my stash, and I would love if you can do the same to help me, because it's all for a great cause. Putting shoes on the feet of our kiddos who are in schools. I also want to thank Honey D's Charcuterie, Love Boards, and the Box Theory. They are putting together a charcuterie display for June 18th. And we're going to have some other light fare and beverages for you during that event, okay? But bring your $5 bills or your credit card so you can purchase raffle tickets to help all of these great charities that are listed there that are going to get the support. All right. If you want to know what's happening in Frederick, well, where do you go? Well, if I could find my mouse here, I will go to promocircus.com. Now, that is my company website. On there, I have created a tab for Everything Frederick Live. And if you hover over it, you'll see calendar of events right there, okay? And it is exactly as it would be if you texted the word calendar to 888-465-2944, where when you text calendar to that number, you get a link directly back to this exact same calendar, all right? I went through the library events. Oh my gracious. There are, first of all, tons of libraries in Frederick County, which is amazing, and the New Middletown Library, phenomenal. But a ton of programming. If you've got kids all the way up to teenagers, you've got to check out the local library because, of course, these events are all free and available to you. So let's click on agenda like I've trained you how to do so you can actually see what's going on. Well, today is prom day, hence the tiara. The Scott Key Center prom, which is happening at the Ark of Frederick, right on Market Street, right next, you enter right next to Key Stadium. Now, first of all, I have to apologize. I think yesterday when I was talking about the prom, I wasn't clear that the prom was today because apparently a couple volunteers turned up yesterday. So I hope those volunteers come back today at 10 a.m. As soon as I finish this stream, Mama Cone and I are in the car and we're heading over to Scott Key Center to help everybody set up and get ready for the arrival of the clients of the Scott Key Center. I know they are so excited and they cannot wait. All right, so 10 to 11, I need volunteers. And then 1 to 2, I need volunteers. The prom is from 11 to 1, and we need to clean up from 1 to 2 and get the Ark looking pristine as it was when we found it. So if you can volunteer today, I would be so appreciative. And of course, today is June 5th, okay? All right. So the library events, I will go back through this weekend and try to add more. I was trying to do a lot of the ones for this week, but there are I just so many things. So at the Walkersville Public Library today at 10, a sensory program for adults with intellectual disabilities. Phenomenal. I didn't even know that this was happening. You have story time in the garden right off Monteview Lane here in Frederick. It's a children's garden. They have I didn't even know there was a children's garden over there. And they have an educational activity with a short story. Amazing. And those are held throughout the year. No idea this was happening. They have an autism ASD friendly story time at Sieber Arts Library at 10:15. Let me just tell you, there are so many things. It would fill up, 5 calendars. But I will get them all on because you need to know that this is happening. And you need it all in one place. That's the problem, right? When all these events are in 10 different places, very hard to see it all under one roof. All right, so I've got more of I'm adding as many food trucks and wherever they are as I can. Of course, the farmers markets. And tonight, 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock, come on out and socialize with Shannon and Tara and all the friends from Everything Frederick and more. See them in real life. Let's come on out. Come on out to the home of Everything Frederick. And I'm going to have my new Good Morning Frederick swag, which is right now in the back of my car. I'm going to get that all organized and bring that over. I have these gorgeous tank tops in like this fuchsia color. Amazing. I have royal blue t-shirts. Those are unisex, like the men's cut. And then I've got some ladies cut t-shirts as well, which look phenomenal thanks to Special Tees and Hannah. So you can come out tonight at 5 o'clock, home of Everything Frederick, 401 North Market Street. We want to have more and more events there, and we'd love for you to come out and see it. All right, so scroll through the calendar, pick the things you like. You can actually add it to your own calendar. Easy peasy, one click, and check all that out. Of course, tomorrow, Alive at 5, and then we've got Country on the Creek. We got WFMD up the creek. We've got tons of events coming up. Rosy Cheeks has their first open mic night, which is awesome. Free movie night at the Veterans Service Center on Monocacy Boulevard. They do ask that you register. It is free to go, though. They just want to know how many people to expect, of course. And then Sunday, we want to talk about the Shop Local event at Fourth Dimension. I think that is from 1 to 4 p.m. at Fourth Dimension. Shop Local, lots of vendors, lots of fun there. Don't forget, it is the Frederick Chamber of Commerce Shiro nominations. Nominate a Shiro. This is the Chamber's way to highlight some amazing ladies. You will be nominating, you can nominate for the Strength Award, the Heart Award, and the Equality Award. Do you see how they did that? Strength, S-H, Heart, E, Equality for Shiro. That's what it's all about. And we love highlighting what amazing women are doing in Frederick. Finally, the scholarship will be presented at Troy Fest. I'm losing my voice here. So you can now, first of all, if you want to submit an application for the scholarship, this is for music programming, right? If you've got a child who wants to learn an instrument or play in a band or do any of that, and it just not financially, you're not in a place to do it right now, let's not deny them of that, okay? So Troy Fest is an event happening in September, and they are giving out a scholarship to a young musician or an up-and-coming musician, or maybe a kid who doesn't even know he's a musician, okay? So you're going to want to apply. You can apply through August 1st. While you're there, so that's through Rhythm Changes. We met Brandon recently. And then you're going to want to go to Troy Fest, which is Saturday, September 7th. That's the event. It's happening at the farm right off 144. You can buy your early bird tickets for just $6. And that event has music all day long. Lots of local bands, great food, vendors, and even adult beverages at that one. So You want to check that out. And we'll be talking more about Troy Fest coming up. I'm going to make sure we can get Kat on the show to talk about that amazing event. All right, just go to promocircus.com, click on Everything Frederick Live, calendar of events, and you will be able to see all of these wonderful events for yourself. And if you have an event you want included, or you see one on social, if you could email me the link to everythingfredericklive@gmail.com, I would be so appreciative. All right, let's talk about who is making the market excellent. Market Makers is sponsored by Intense Barbecue, family-owned barbecue, food truck, and catering company. They cook in small batches to ensure that the food is as fresh as it can possibly be. And I know this to be true because Shannon had them cater the grand opening for the home of Everything Frederick, and they brought, scrumptious, delicious food. The barbecue is to die for, and their meat parfaits are still one of my favorites. You can find them at intensebarbecue.com. That's IN, the number 1, the number 0, SE, barbecue.com. Satisfy your meat tooth. And if you're having a picnic or an event this summer and you want amazing food, and it doesn't have to be barbecue. Rob brought me filet mignon one time. That was, oh my gosh, amazing. So whatever the menu you want, they can do it. They've been cooking for years. Previous to the food truck, they catered. That's what they did. So if you're looking for a caterer, you can contact them. All right, Deanna was on a fertility journey and realized that there weren't enough resources utilizing yoga to help women because she'd been doing yoga for a long time. So she became certified, which I didn't even know was possible, and is now helping women around the country. On a side note, while I was editing, I realized Deanna's screen froze a few times and the sound is a little echoey. But I really wanted to get this out to you, this information. So I promise I'm going to make time this summer. We're going to head over and do an in-person recording for her and show you what she does. But in the meantime, here is Deanna. Time to get a little zen with Deanna Houston. How are you today?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Thank you so much for taking the time today. And I'd love to find out a little bit about your specialties, because while you are a yoga instructor, you like to specialize with a certain type of woman. Is that correct?
Yes. So the people that I help support are those on a fertility journey through pregnancy, postpartum, and then also through motherhood.
And what made you decide or lean to this special demographic?
I feel like it's the classic journey. Everybody always chooses something that impacted their own experience. So a little bit of information. I went on my own fertility journey. It took me about 4 years to get pregnant. And I knew based on that time that there was such a need to support people beyond just a medical component of it, supporting them in the emotional support as well as even nervous system support. And so because I went through that, I knew that eventually down the road, I would love to help people. Same to be said through pregnancy and postpartum. They're not an easy time in people's lives. And so I wanted to be able to support those people just beyond the poses though. So, I mean, there's a component that I help with the nervous system and breath work and helping people just be more in their bodies. Such a time of our lives where we can feel a little alone. So having a support team can always be really helpful.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things where you've got everything is going on emotionally, hormonally, your body's changing and morphing. And I think you'd be a wonderful partner in that journey to help work from mind and to through the body during these crazy time, in a woman where whether you're pregnant now and that 9 months or 10 months is just kind of topsy-turvy to after giving birth, I know it would be a great time to have that realigning, I guess.
Right. Very well said. Yeah. I think also, as I said about the loneliness component of it. I think sometimes when we're on these journeys, we don't even know where to turn or who to
Yeah.
help us. And there's these obvious places in which can help us. Like I said earlier, the medical component of it. I remember going on my fertility journey. I was talking to the nurse at Shady Girl Fertility, and I was asking her questions about the doctor. And I was like, all right, this guy though's not going to give me a hug, right? He's not going to help me calm down. I just want to understand that that's not who he is, and I need to find other people for that. And I mean, she agreed. She said, yeah, I mean, when you're on these journeys, you need to find sometimes emotional support or nervous system support. So, yeah,
Yeah.
finding a team I think is always helpful.
So, were you, while you were trying to get pregnant for those 4 years, were you already doing yoga and then you just kind of said, you know what, I think this is something that can be expanded?
Yeah, so I've been doing yoga for almost 20 years. And what then happened as I was on my own motherhood journey, I started getting certifications in fertility yoga as well as prenatal, postpartum yoga. I have pelvic floor certification and trauma training I have as well, just to support the whole package of what people go through.
Wow, that's excellent. I didn't even know all of those certifications existed, but
Right.
it's kind of nice to know that you kind of literally from start to finish, you can help somebody. Taking it aside from what most of us may know as regular yoga, what do you add into it with those certifications or those, targets?
That's, I think, a really excellent question because there is specific components in which support people during each phase. I'll kind of just go down the line. An example, fertility, there are specific poses you do before you ovulate versus after. If it's a medicated cycle versus non-medicated, there are specific things that we want to do to support the body in preparing for hopefully a pregnancy. Same to be said for pregnancy. You need modifications. You don't do a lot of ab work anymore. You're trying to do a little bit of strengthening because you're a little bit looser with the hormones inside. And then postpartum, same thing. If you need a lot of modifications, your abs could have separated, you could have tearing, etc. And so a general yoga class is lovely, but sometimes it may not support specifically what you need.
That's so interesting, actually. It makes a ton of sense when you actually think about it. If you've had a
Right.
kid, you know all of the loosening of your ligaments and everything else that happens before and during, and then certainly after you've given birth. So that's wonderful. You were talking earlier to me that outside of just the yoga itself, some of what you do provides support in other ways. What else do you got kind of offer somebody so that it is really truly the whole package?
Well, I always, before I work with someone, figure out what their goals are. And on average, most people want help physically and then emotionally, or even sometimes we go spiritually, depending on the person. And so, what I described earlier was kind of like the physical part of support, but then the emotional part is we get really triggered in our nervous systems when we're going through fertility challenges. There is grief associated with that. With pregnancy, our hormones affect our emotions. Our nervous system, again, can be in flux. We can be triggered. Of course, postpartum, we're also really extra sensitive. And so, things that I can do, I'm trained in breath work that helps. There's scientific data that shows it can regulate our nervous systems. Breath work can also help with the resilience of the nervous system. I used to be a person who got really triggered very easily, and I have worked really hard with breath work and somatic experiencing to be able to then make my nervous system a little bit more resilient. I get less triggered than I used to. And so there's a lot of data that supports if your nervous system is also calm or you're not in fight or flight, you are more likely to get pregnant than if you are in these stages of fight or flight. So I kind of help with that fight or flight, getting people out of it, people identifying when they're in it, and then tools for helping them cope. One of the big things I always try to do is have people really capable of helping themselves so that they work with me for a little bit, but then they're on their own. They learn their triggers. They learn how to calm themselves. They learn what happens when they have grief, what it feels like. When they're anxious, their muscles
Right.
So they're able to identify themselves and then hopefully go out on their own and take care of themselves.
Well, that's what I love about that whole thing is that you actually, instead of saying, you got to come back every week or 3 times a week so I can help you, it's more about giving people the tools to help themselves to have a very calming and good life beyond, which I love that.
Right. I mean, all of us should have learned tools for regulating our nervous system in school, but that was just not something, and it's an
Yeah.
important part. We're all triggered all day long. We should know
Right.
how to get ourselves out of it.
So, outside of women either trying to, having already, or post birth, are these classes or things that you do one on one or groups or both?
Both. So I'm actually sitting right now. I teach virtual yoga. Sometimes people in different areas want to work with me, and so I'm able to do virtual yoga with them. I record it, then they can do it over and over again. That's a way to work with me one on one. I have gone to people's houses in the Frederick area, or they come to my studio. And then I do offer group classes as well. And then I also have an additional support of women's circles. I do that monthly, and then women's retreats periodically through the year as well.
That is so convenient. I mean, pretty much you can't find an excuse why you can't access the information and teachings from you. And the fact that you've been doing it a long time and through your own journeys have found things that have worked. So you're speaking from experience, in the sense that, hey, I know I was like this and now I'm like this, or I know because I experienced. What is one thing you would want everyone in Frederick to know about you and this yoga to help? If they were to come away with one thing, what would that be?
I think the main thing, as I kind of alluded to earlier, is that we all can turn inward. We can all get clarity. We can all learn about ourselves more. And the more information we do have about ourselves, the better we can help our lives beyond motherhood, whether it's just, like I said, whether you're triggered or even anxious about a work meeting, whatever that might be. It's all your nervous system is feeling that way. I think another thing too is I offer free consultations. So when a person gets on a consultation with me, they tell me what's happening. I tell them more about myself, because in order for people to be able to work with me, they need to feel safe. And so I love explaining who I am to make sure we're a good fit for one another. And then I help to develop a plan. As I said earlier, some people are really spiritual and they want to talk about their guides and energy work, and I can go there. And then some other people, I've had attorneys that I've worked with that are like, just do the physical part, stay there, I'm not going further. And so I can reach whatever people want, whatever support they need.
Yeah. And that's great too, because there are, again, everybody's different and they're at a different space in their life and they want something different from you. So where can people find you? What's the easiest way if they wanted to set up a consultation?
You can go to my website, deannahouston.com, and then I have a contact me tab on my website. Also, sometimes people contact me on Instagram as well. I'm just Deanna at Deanna Houston Yoga.
That's awesome. Well, look, we appreciate the time that you took with us today. I think what you're doing is really fascinating, because I think the more that people can find the resources they need as they're going through whatever journey they are, that's a great thing. And, I think sometimes, like you say, in combination with what you're getting medically, sometimes these things can give you what you need to get through that particular journey at the time.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
All right. I want to thank Deanna. And again, apologies for the video and the sound a little bit, but I really think it's important for women to understand, if they are looking for something extra along with their, medical professionals, that this could be a great alternative if you're trying to get pregnant, or like I say, you already are, because she is not only, she's been there, right? And so you love when people have actually experienced it and found some solutions. All right, after the quick break, I talk with Marilyn Herbert from the Alzheimer's Association. We're going to talk about the Walk to End Alzheimer's, which is coming up in October. Plus, she's got some tips for how you kind of benchmark where you are now. If you're at all concerned, or maybe Alzheimer's runs in your family, it's really cool. All right, after this.
Elevate your next party with Dreamscape Slumber Events. Over 12 themes and customization available for kids, teens, and adults to enjoy. Don't have the space? We have solutions for that too. Search Dreamscape Slumber Events on Facebook.
All right, we're going to talk about who's doing good in the neighborhood. Okay, while there might not be a cure for Alzheimer's yet, there have been a lot of advancements that have been made in recent years, and thanks to the events like Walk to End Alzheimer's, because the money raised there goes to research and helping and providing the resources that families and caretakers may need. I spoke with Marilyn Herbert about the Walk to End Alzheimer's and Alzheimer's in general. Let's say hi to Marilyn. I'm at Nimio Field at Key Stadium. Harry Grove Stadium, actually. Stadium Drive with Marilyn Herbert, the Director of Development for the Alzheimer's Association.
Yeah, I've been the development manager for a little over 2 years. I've lived in Frederick County for over 30 years. Just excited about joining the organization as I have strong personal connection, as I'm sure many people listening do, to Alzheimer's and dementia.
Right. And you came to our Rotary not too long ago to tell that story, which is, it's kind of scary because your friend, mentor, was young.
Yeah, I had lost both of my grandmothers who were up in age to Alzheimer's, and that was tough enough and really devastating in the family. But when I was working with my boss and mentor, he was in his 50s, in the prime of his career. We were in a growing organization, and things started to go sideways gradually, and he did not receive a diagnosis until after he had lost his position, and there'd been a lot of heartache and difficulty, and he passed at 62. So that gave me a whole other perspective on how this disease and other dementias really affects organizations, friend groups, and really the community.
Yeah, absolutely. So you are in charge of the Alzheimer's Walk, which happens October 13th, right?
Yes, our Walk to End Alzheimer's takes place Sunday, October 13th, and we're here at Grove Stadium. We begin here, and then we proceed after a ceremony into downtown Frederick, around the Carroll Creek, and back here. It's a little under 2 miles of a route, but people can walk as far as they feel comfortable.
Yeah. So number one, how do people participate in the Alzheimer's Walk if they want to take part?
Sure. The Walk to End Alzheimer's is already open for registration, has been since January. We have many teams already signed up and individuals, and they fundraise throughout the year. This is the second largest peer-to-peer fundraising event nationwide.
Wow.
In the country. And here in Frederick, we raised almost $300,000 last year. So they would go to alz.org, alz.org, where you'll find all kinds of resources if you need it, but you can also link to the walk, look up by zip code, and find the nearest walk. And again, ours is here in Frederick. You could also Google 2024 Walk to End Alzheimer's Frederick, and we'd come up as well.
Yeah, okay. So you still have time to get a team together if you want to have large impact.
Yes.
But certainly just participating has every impact is great. And then you can come out here in October and actually do the walk. What other things can we do as a community to support what you're doing to end Alzheimer's?
Well, we're looking for leaders that are willing to come alongside us, whether it be to form a team in their business, to be part of our board at the Maryland chapter-wide, or to become leaders with the walk initiatives that are starting. We are looking, of course, for sponsors, volunteers the day of the event. We do have opportunities, both ongoing volunteer opportunities as well as on the day of, on the job training. There is no fee if you do join us in the walk, no fee to register and no minimum fundraising requirements. Of course, we hope you'll be able to raise a little funds, but we most of all want you here at the walk. It's oftentimes the first time that someone connects with others that are caring for someone with the disease or living with the disease, and there'll be a wealth of resources at our resource table, and you'll hear from some speakers as well.
Yeah.
But getting involved now, connect directly with me for both one-time opportunities in the community leading up to the walk. There are opportunities for community educators to train and things like that outside of the walk. And again, my name is Marilyn Herbert, and you can reach me at MJ Herbert, that's MJHERBERT at ALZ.org. And yeah, that's it. I'd love to meet you. I'd love to discuss how you can plug in not only to the walk, but the greater work of the association.
Yeah. You know, I know you've been with the Alzheimer's Association just a couple of years. In that time so far, have you run across any challenges that you've had trying to get the word out about the Alzheimer's Association?
Well, I feel we have some great resources, and I'm out there as much as I can, but we are a volunteer-fueled organization. So the more people that we connect with, formally and informally, that can help get out the word and send people our way, both for support and care as well as to plug in as volunteers, the better. We are in a very exciting time. Now, compared with even 2 years ago when I joined the association, we're in an era of treatment where there are some medications, therapies, and things that we did not have even 2 years ago that are only powerful right now if someone gets an early diagnosis.
Right.
So we're really trying to get that word out too, that early detection and diagnosis is key, because we have things now that can help. We don't have a cure yet. Ultimately, we want a cure to find a cure, but we just need to connect with more people. So
yeah. Is there anything that, I know you're not a physician, so not with that, but you know, through the organization, are there any tips like if you notice this, then you can do this? Or is there anything like that so that people can go for that early diagnosis?
Well, if you go to alz.org, there are even resources on this, and one of our more popular trainings is called the 10 warning signs.
Oh, great.
So it'll give the several different typical warning signs, though each person is unique.
Yeah.
Things like, you know, it may not just be forgetting things, because oftentimes it's normal cognitive decline as we age, for example, for not be able to find the right words soon enough, or to maybe misplace something. But oftentimes with Alzheimer's and dementia, someone may be forgetting something or repeating something, and they're not even recognizing they're doing it.
Right. Okay. Yeah,
so
that's great.
it's part of it is that recognition and self-awareness.
Yeah.
I know that with my friend and with one of my grandmothers, that one of the first things we noticed is a difficulty finding familiar locations. Is when they're driving and then getting lost, going somewhere they've gone a million times, and again, not really recognizing it first, and being able to get their bearings. There are so many different things. I recommend that all of us, whether we're having any difficulty or not, get a baseline cognitive test at the doctor's.
Right, that's a great idea.
And you may have to kind of press for that, but most family physicians can do a very simple baseline test. So if 5 years from now, Danny, you're concerned about yourself, there'll be something to compare it to, what you're experiencing too.
That's great advice. That's great advice. All right, so get a team together, alz.org. You can put in 21701, get the walk that is here October 13th, get a team together, or just come out. Again, no fee to register and be a part of it. And if you're certainly dealing with somebody immediately that has had Alzheimer's or has Alzheimer's right now, you'll be amongst people who have felt the same, right? And you're amongst a community of people that will provide resource and camaraderie and, you know, wrap their arms around you during what we know is a difficult time. We want to thank Marilyn Herbert And we will make sure all the website and everything is on the screen. Thank you for the
Perfect.
time today. And we look forward to being out here in October.
Hope to see you then.
All right. You got to join the Walk to End Alzheimer's, and want to thank Marilyn Herbert for that. And we'll be revisiting it as it gets closer, because that is in October. And I know it's far away, but I want you, if you're at maybe your office or you've got family members that you have, where Alzheimer's has touched your life, get a team together and do it together, because I think sometimes being amongst people who have experienced similar things is comforting. All right, coming up on tomorrow's show, Kelly Yates is specializing in physical therapy for women. I love this. We've had yoga for women today, physical therapy for women tomorrow. I'm going to recap the Scott Key Center prom. I'm going to do an unboxing of my first Moon Valley Farms CSA box, and we will talk with Michelle from Pulling for Veterans about a free event, June 22nd. I'm actually emceeing it. It is completely free for veterans and emergency service personnel, their families, to come out and have a wonderful day. So we're going to talk about that tomorrow, but it is completely free, and I hope to see you out there. Already 250 people are registered. We can hold another 250 more. It's going to be wonderful. All right, we're on all the socials. Good Morning Frederick, Everything Frederick Live. Check it out when you have a minute. Search and follow and subscribe. Thank you to my advocates for sharing and commenting and being relentless as me to get people to watch this show. I really appreciate it. Let's go to 100,000. How about it? All right. Get out there today and be great, Frederick.
From downtown.